Welcome now, day 12 reading. Yesterday finished up First Kings, and today reading the first two chapters of Second Kings. Yesterday's reading, there was Naboth and his vineyard, and the orchestrating of murder by Jezebel and by association Ahab. To be able to seize this vineyard. And I remarked how it was in a very real way the story of David and Bathsheba all over again. We left off with there was the death of Ahab. Ahaziah had ascended to take his place. And the reflective question was, how do you turn around this huge ocean liner? It doesn't happen quickly, and after getting through First Kings, is it possible in Second Kings? Even with the downward spiral that began in Second Samuel, boy, it wasn't anywhere near this bad. And so going now in 2 Kings chapter 1, Ahaziah is king, and they're having problems with the Moabites. The Moabites are one of the chief rivals throughout their history of Israel. Well, Ahaziah is going to fall through a window and into his chamber, and is going to get hurt. He's worried that he might die. So he's going to send his people to go ask, consult with the prophets of Baal, the antithesis of God throughout the Old Testament. Well, this is going to insult God. And here Elijah is going to be prompted to go and meet these messengers on their way to consult with the oracles of Baal, confront them and say, do you really believe that there's no God in Israel anymore? Well, Elijah is going to get in the way, and the king is going to want to seize Elijah. So he's going to send 50 of his men to seize Elijah. And Elijah's going to turn it into an honor challenge. If my God is real and not Baal, then let fire come down and kill these 50 men. Well, that's not, then 50 more men are going to be sent. And this happens not only one more time, but 3 times in total. Elijah is winning the challenges. However, nobody's really changing here. The kings aren't seeming to get a whole lot better. The social circumstance isn't getting any better. And in fact, when we go into chapter number 2, we see the transition from Elijah to Elisha. Remember, Elijah had called Elisha into to being his protege, and now it's going to be time for Elijah to leave. Elisha is going to request one thing, because Elijah is going to pick up the mantle of being the primary prophet, the primary prophet in confronting these kings and carrying the weight, really, of justice. And with all the great things that Elijah is doing, Elisha knows he's going to need to do more. And so he's going to ask for a double portion. Why? Not only is the spiral of injustice becoming more severe, and so the next prophet would need to have a double portion, but frankly, this isn't taking away from Elijah. as a character, but it's just a critical reading. Elijah, he's done some marvelous things, but he hasn't been effective at changing the course of, changing the trajectory of these kingdoms of Judah and Israel at this point. So Elisha is going to need this double portion. Meanwhile, Elijah is going to be taken up in a chariot. Well, the first thing that Elisha is going to do is demonstrate his prophetic authority. And Elisha is going to be a most intriguing character to me. It's interesting when Jesus, especially, this is found more in Luke's gospel than the other gospels. There are many, many themes of Elijah and Elisha. Most prominently in Luke's gospel, when Jesus goes to Nazareth in Luke 4 to give his first sermon, he likens his ministry to that of Elijah and Elisha. There's multiple layers of parallels, perhaps, and some of these that we will see. However, we'll get into that in subsequent readings. Elisha, the first thing he's going to do is demonstrate that, the mantle has fallen to him. He's here in this community. The people are telling him they're not producing crops. The water is bad. The water is bitter. So Elisha says, get me a jar, put salt in it, and he's going to throw the salt in to the spring of water, purifies the water, and don't you know that the water goes from bitter to sweet? And that's our real significant introduction to Elisha. Anyway, with that, I've run out of things to say, and so today's going to be a shorter video, and I will catch you again tomorrow.